Taxation is theft. Why? Because it's the government forcibly taking money away from you. I mean, think about it. You can't say no or no thanks to paying taxes. I mean, the government goes up to you and says, hey, pay your taxes. And you just say, no, or no thanks, I'm good. And the government says, no, seriously, pay your taxes. I'm ordering you to. And you're like, okay, I'll pay. I mean, taxation isn't voluntary. And sure, people try to justify it with, reasoning like, oh, but it goes to stuff we all use, or, oh, we need taxation. But I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure that we may need all this taxation. In fact, I think most taxes, if not all, can be eliminated. I don't think people should be forced to give up their money, at least for the most part, if we do need some taxes. But overall, whether we need it or not, taxation is theft because you're taking away the money, so by force. So yeah, it's theft, necessary or not. There are at least 3 kinds of. First, what do our tax dollars go to? w.full.com. 2.7 trillion of our tax dollars go to things like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, and other entitlement programs. And then there's the over $2 billion that have gone, $2 trillion actually, that have gone to the war on drugs since it was base boosted up in the 1970s. And that 1970s isn't even the beginning of the war on drugs. That's just when they boosted it up. The war on drugs begins in like the 1870s. The 1870s. So, even more money's been spent than over $2 trillion. So yeah, our taxes, they go to the military mainly, entitlement programs, education, billions of dollars spent on education, war on drugs. So you got a lot for tax dollars going to this stuff, and some of it's quite useless. I mean, look at the war on drugs. I've gone over the war on drugs, haven't I? It's stupid. You're throwing people in cages for putting what they want into their body. And yeah, sorry, but these fucking classes need to be adjusted every minute or so. You're throwing people in jail, in cages, for putting what they want into their bodies. I mean, does that make any sense? I mean, I don't think so. They didn't do anything wrong. They just put something in their body, whether it's safe or not, and you're throwing them in a cage. So that's dumb. Also, you got the violent black market, so that's also dumb. And you got the, over $2 trillion that has been spent on war on drugs since the 1970s. That's really dumb. And then what's really dumb is you got all the police brutality and overreach as a result of it. So yeah, that's stupid. And you got all these tax dollars spent on a failing education system, which indoctrinates more than it educates. That's stupid. Then you got all this military spending for wars in countries such as Iraq and Afghanistan, which, that's dumb. A lot of it's dumb. I'm using that word a lot, but it's true, it's dumb. And then you got Social Security money, which I heard is running out, and Medicaid and Medicare that doesn't really help people that effectively, that efficiently, that adequately with their medical problems. So, what are my solutions for all this taxation? Well, to cut the taxes. And to cut the services that they pay for. Like, for the war on drugs, get rid of that. I mean, you don't need your tax dollars going to throwing people in cages for putting what they want in the body. You don't need that. I don't need it. So, what else? The military spending, get rid of foreign intervention, foreign aid. Just keep the military over here, where it's supposed to be, over here in the U.S. What else should be cut? Well, Social Security, that's involuntary. I think people should be able to plan their own retirement. So I say cut that, I mean, you get all this shit deducted from your paycheck for Social Security, and I don't think it's right. Also, education, that should obviously be privatized completely. since the government sucks at education. Okay, so those are things I think tax dollars should be cut or eliminated from. Which taxes do I think should be eliminated exactly? Well, there are at least 3 taxes I think should be eliminated. At least 3. And those taxes are property tax, income tax, and sales tax. Sales tax, okay, well first, what is property tax? It's tax you pay on your property, right? You own a house, you're going to have to pay the government for that house. Regularly. Yearly, frequently. Because, well, it's a tax. It's involuntary, it's theft, you got to pay it. And that's really stupid because you own your property, right? Well, property tax basically implies you don't, because if you truly own your property, then why are you paying someone else for it? I mean, if you don't pay your property tax, that house just goes out the window. It's not your house anymore. You didn't pay your property tax. It's not yours anymore. You paid the realty cost for it, but since you didn't pay your property tax, in addition to that, it's not yours anymore. So that's bullshit. So since you own your property, you shouldn't have to pay taxes for it. I mean, sure, pay the utility bill since that's something you're continuously using voluntarily, but property tax, that needs to go. Okay, what else? Income tax. That's tax on money you make. Remember, you don't get to keep all your paycheck, so some of it gets deducted in the form of income tax, which is stupid, because you did all the work. You should get all the pay. You should keep all your paycheck, all of it. But the government doesn't think so, apparently, so it takes out some of that money for income tax. What else does the government take away? Oh yeah, sales tax. What is sales tax? Well, it's when you go to buy something at the store and you gotta pay not only the price for a said item, but you also gotta pay the tax for it, okay? The big deal, why sales tax is such a big deal is because it can mean the difference between being able to buy something and not being able to buy something. What's a good example? Let's say something costs $9.99, like a bag of chips or something, like from the student store at college. Okay, and let's say you barely have enough to pay for it. Let's say you have exactly $9.99. Well, you still can't quite buy that item because of sales tax. Sales tax, so if something costs $9.99, and you only have $9.99, well then you can't pay for it because you gotta pay your sales tax and you can't afford the sales tax. So you don't get the item. You don't get the item. If sales tax were eliminated, the price you see would be the price you pay, but since it isn't, the price you see is at least how much you pay. So, it's at least how much you pay since you gotta pay that plus more sales tax. So that's bullshit because I don't want to be kept from buying what I want to buy. I want to be able to buy whatever, and if I have the price that's on the price tag, I should be able to buy it. So, those are 3 taxes I think should be eliminated at least. I know there are more. Oh, I know what taxes that should be eliminated. The NFA tax. The NFA tax is a tax on automatic weapons and destructive devices. Any weapon that needs to be registered with the ATF or BATF, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, that fucking organization. Anti-Second Amendment. Organization, bureaucracy bullshit. Any weapon that needs to be registered by that needs to have an NFA tax stamp. And it costs $200. $200 on your automatic weapon or destructive device. How does that sound? Sounds stupid. That can be eliminated. So I listed 4 things that can be cut and 4 things that you shouldn't be taxed for. So okay, the 4 things that should be cut is the military, education, Social Security, and the war on drugs. Okay, we can eliminate the war on drugs, we can eliminate the public education system. Okay, and the 4 taxes I think should be eliminated at least are property tax, sales tax, income tax, and NFA tax. And NFA stands for National Firearms Act. Yeah. So, okay, if you have taxes that aren't fair, at least beyond the whole taxation stuff thing, they should get on it. I want to be able to keep the money I earn. I want to be able to keep the money that's mine. I don't want the government to just swoop in and take that away, because that's not right. And I think politicians that are, libertarian politicians, not Republican, Democrat politicians, because we all know how much they truly care about people, their constituents. I want politicians like the libertarian ones to eliminate all these taxes. And oh yeah, here's some things I think may be able to be privatized rather than pay taxes for. Okay, for example, roads. I think we can privatize the roads and not have to pay taxes for that. Just voluntary money to use the road. Fire department, I think you can voluntarily pay for that. Education, you can definitely voluntarily pay for that. Make it all privatized. Private schools, charter schools, make it all voluntary. Education shouldn't be forced, of course. Retirement, that'd be voluntary. Because it's your retirement, you get to choose how to go about your life after you're done working. You shouldn't have to have the government point a gun to your head and make you pay for your retirement their way. And so that's pretty much all I have to really say about these goddamn taxes, is that they're theft, this is what something to pay for, this is why it's wrong, this is how we can cut them, this is what we can do instead to pay for the stuff taxes pay for. That's all I got to really say about that. Alright, so yeah, bye.